Hi everyone, welcome to Blue Heron Hill. I'm downstairs in the basement. You can see hot water heater, furnace, a couple plants up there. So I am in my seed starting area. I have a whole bunch of seeds that I have to get started. Okay, number one on my list is my brassicas. If you caught my last video, it was all about brassicas. So I have my cabbage, my cauliflower, my broccoli, my Chinese cabbage. I even have some kohlrabi, but I'm going to wait off on the kohlrabi a little bit. I don't need to start that quite yet. But the other ones I have to get in as starting from seed. So I'm in zone 6A. Now, zones are so fluctuating, you know, everybody's so caught up in zones. But I know as a, well, sort of semi-seasoned gardener that I can start them in late February, early March, and get them in the ground in April. And then that's even before my average last frost date, which is end of April, beginning of May. I know I can start them and get them in the ground early, so that's what I'm doing. So hopefully they'll get a jump start at 6 weeks to 7 weeks to be able to get into my garden early and start growing because they love the cool weather. I think I showed you this in one of my previous videos. It's an organic seed starting mix. Your seeds do not need anything special in the way of fertilizer to get going. They have everything they need in that within that tiny little seed, and they can start growing, push up those first primary leaves or the cotyledons, and then once they get their first true leaves, that's when they can use some boost from the outside environment, i.e. the soil that they're in. So right now, this is no fertilizer, no nothing. Just a medium to hold on to the seed and supply it with its needs, i.e. first of all, moisture. So it doesn't mean you can't start it in potting soil, which I have a big bag back here of potting soil. I'm not going to use that yet. That I use for when I transfer these little baby seedlings and they get too big from their first little plug. I will put them in a bigger pot and then transfer them into something that has a potting soil. But a lot of seed starting, if you make it yourself, a lot of these mixes call for potting soil or maybe even compost, which is okay. But most potting soil, let's get a handful here. Most potting soil has little pieces of sticks and it's rather chunky. It's not what the seedling needs to push its root through that medium and get going. So I do have my seed starting mix here that I purchased. I said I purchased it last fall when it was on sale. So look out for that if you want to save a little bit of money. But I wanted to show you how we can make our own seed starting mix. I use 3 things. I use this is perlite, and this is that little stuff with the white, those little white bubbles there. And they're good for holding on to moisture. And that's what the soil needs, is to hold on to moisture, not that it's going to be sopping wet, but keep the soil moist so that seed will germinate. Also, vermiculite. This also holds on to moisture, and with the perlite adds some loft to the soil and doesn't compact down. Another thing you could use is, a lot of people use peat moss or coco coir. This is how coco coir comes, at least in the, let's see. This is the box that I bought it in. Comes in these flat compressed sheets like this. I think in the past I've used peat moss, and I used peat moss in the garden, but I think I'm going to transfer at least my seed starting operation and my seed starting mix to coco coir. It's a much more sustainable product than peat moss. The world is going to run out of peat moss. So I'm going to go to coco coir because it is something that it's from coconut trees. And it's something that they can keep growing, and it's more sustainable. But either one is fine. If you have it, if this is not available to you and peat moss is, use it in the same way. Well, this does not break up very easily. So we have to soak this in water, and that's what we're going to do right now. So here we are. Make sure you have yourself a tray or something that's going to hold water. Now my coco coir blocks have been sitting down in this basement for a number of years. I've had this for, I think this is going on its 3rd year. So I don't know what little creepy crawlies might be hatching eggs and stuff down here. So I always like to take, and same with how I treat my seed starting mix here, I pour over boiling water. That's to kill any possible eggs that may exist on the surface or in this. And you can see how this is really expanding already. It's just soaking up all that moisture. Now I'm just going to let it go a little while. It's still pretty hard down there, so I know that it can use still a little bit more water. I don't know actually how much water I pour on here, just until it can start breaking up like this. There we go. And see how much that makes? That one little brick makes probably maybe about 3 quarts of a substance when it's fully expanded. So, there we go. That's pretty good. It's a little warm. Be careful, because the water is boiling. My ratio is about 3 parts or 4 parts of this coco coir and 1 part of the vermiculite. And I'm just going to say that this is probably roughly that. So I'm going to put 1 whole part of vermiculite in here. And one part of perlite. I don't think you need to have exactly perfect measurements, just a rough ratio, so it looks kind of good. You can see the white perlite in there. Vermiculite is very thin and will tend to kind of disappear, but this is nice and fluffy, and I think this will make a great seed starting mix. So if you want to save money, get yourself a bag of perlite, a bag of vermiculite, and a couple blocks of the coco coir or peat moss, and mix up your own. This is lovely. Now, to me, this is not quite damp enough, so I will pour just a wee bit more water in here to moisten it up just a little bit more. Now remember, this is boiling water, so this is not really that cool. Okay. This is pretty good. You don't want it dripping wet, but you want it to be able to stand together a little bit. And look at how much that made. That is probably close to 1/4 of this bag almost. So it certainly is a money saver. Can't remember how much this was, but I thought the price was good for especially end of the season. Now I have some seed trays here that I will fill up. Again, you just want to lightly fill and press down so you don't have any air pockets in your mix here. There we go. And you're ready for some seeds. So I have a whole bunch of seeds that I have to get planted. So I have to get going and start this. I won't bother you, or I won't bore you with just sticking seeds in these seed trays, because I think you've seen that before. But I would say a key factor is not press down too much and compact your soil too much. Although this is a very nice and light seed starting mix, and I don't think those seeds will have much problem pushing their roots out of that seed and starting to grow. Okay, that was a planting marathon right there. Let me show you what I have here. This is just a tray of seeds, lettuce seeds, all different varieties, just a mix. I will pick these and eat them during this early spring season. And if there's any left, I'll plant them outside in April as it approaches my last frost date. Let's see, what do I have here? I have Napa cabbage, regular green cabbage, more cabbage, cauliflower, and Chinese cabbage here. In these trays here, I have some herbs here, and these are my broccoli. So that is usually what I do. Most of these seeds are very, very small, so I just sprinkle them on the top, and then I will take and poke just a little toothpick in, and then just pat them down. And then I'm going to come along with my bottle of water. It's just plain water. It's got this nifty little watering device on top, which gives it just a light sprinkle here. And that just helps get those seeds not super wet, but just a little bit. That water should drip down into the whole cell of seed starting mix. And then I will put a humidity dome on top, and then this is a heat mat. So these guys are off to the races, and we'll see how long it takes for them to germinate. My guess is not too long, maybe 5 days. Who knows? Lettuce might be quicker, but I'm going to do that with all of these. And I don't think I have a large dome for this one, but I will put plastic wrap on top. Now I wanted to show you what I have coming up already from a few weeks ago. Now I am so thrilled. This is celery. This I planted on February 19th, and it took only 10 days. Sometimes it takes longer than 10 days for me. It takes 2 weeks, and I think last year I had to replant because I wasn't getting any germination. Lots of germination here. Very, very excited. When these get bigger, I'm going to tease some of these apart and plant in individual cells. So, because I want more than 6 celery plants. Right here, I have oregano back here. This is first time growing oregano from seed. I have cilantro in the front. It's doing very well. That's going to be able to go out into the garden in April. Here I have spinach. It's doing well. That will be a plant that goes out early. And let's see, what do we have here? Oh, let me see. This is tatsoi. This is going to be able to go out in the garden early. And here's kale. And we have, let me read this. Okay, we have more tatsoi and we have more kale. And these are early season crops, and they are very cold tolerant, and they will be able to go out early in the garden. So that will free up space here. Now I have these under lights that are very close to the light. I just raised it up just a little bit just the other day. And I'm going to leave it at this height until they reach almost to the light here. I didn't have such good luck with my leeks. I only have a few, 1, 2, and there was another one over here that was growing. So I just reseeded those, and we're going to see if they will germinate. There we go. My second round of seed starting. Lots more seeds to go. So stick with me, and we'll have plenty to talk about. So let me know, what are you planting? What have you started? And any particular varieties that you like. I'll get into some of the varieties that I have that I like in particular, and some of the new ones that I'm trying, like especially this year I've got a new cabbage that I'm trying. So put it in the comments down below. Let me know what you're doing. So until the next time that we can go digging in the dirt, bye.